The snow was falling fast, covering the small mountain town in a blanket of white. Eric zipped up his old leather jacket as he walked through the frozen woods near his cabin. He lived alone at the edge of town, far from the noisy world. It was quiet here, peaceful, but not tonight. A strange sound broke the silence. It wasn't the wind. It was something else. A soft thump, followed by a groan. Eric stopped. He turned his head toward the sound. His breath turned into mist in the cold. Cautiously, he walked toward the noise. Just beyond the trees, he saw something. Someone lying in the snow. A girl. She wasn't wearing winter clothes. Just a thin silver suit, torn in places, glowing faintly. Her skin looked pale blue. Her long hair shimmered with hints of silver and violet. Eric's heart jumped. She wasn't human. Eric dropped to his knees. "Hey, can you hear me?" he said, shaking her shoulder. Her eyes opened slowly, bright purple, glowing. She looked up at him, dazed. Then she whispered something, in a strange language. Eric couldn't understand, but her voice sounded like music. She shivered. Her body was freezing cold. Without thinking, Eric picked her up. She was light, too light, like a feather. He carried her back to his cabin, struggling through the deep snow. Questions filled his mind. Who is she? Where did she come from? Is she dangerous? He didn't have answers. But he knew one thing. If he left her there, she would die. Back inside his warm cabin, Eric placed her gently on his bed. He turned on the heater and wrapped her in blankets. She didn't resist. Her eyes watched him, calm but tired. He made hot soup, but she only stared at the bowl. Then slowly she touched the cup with her fingers. Steam rose into the air and she smiled faintly, as if she understood warmth but didn't know how to feel it. "What's your name?" Eric asked softly. The girl blinked, then said something, in her own language. She paused, then slowly spoke again, this time in broken English. "Name? Nira." "Nira," Eric repeated. "Are you alien?" She hesitated. Her glowing eyes looked away. Then she gave a small nod. Eric stood still. He had read stories, watched movies. But this was real. An alien girl, lying in his bed, scared and hurt. "Why are you here?" he asked. She closed her eyes. "No safe. They hunt me." "Who's hunting you?" Nira didn't answer. That night Eric sat by the fire watching her sleep. She curled into the blankets like a child, but even in sleep, her face looked troubled. Suddenly she spoke again. Not in English. The words were soft but quick, urgent. Eric grabbed his old phone and hit record. Maybe someone online could translate later. She kept whispering until she stopped and turned toward him. "You saw too much," she said. Eric froze. "What do you mean?" Nira slowly sat up, pulling the blanket around her shoulders. "You know now. I'm not normal. If they find out, they kill me. And you." Fear crept into Eric's chest. "Who are they?" "Hunters. Agents. From Sky." There was silence. Only the crackle of fire. Then Nira looked at him with deep, glowing eyes. "But you saved me, you warm, kind." She moved closer. Eric tensed. "I need stay hidden. If you help." She paused, eyes searching his face. "I stay. In your bed. Give warmth. Keep secret. You protect me, I protect you." Eric blinked. "Wait. What?" She nodded. "Deal?" That night, Nira climbed under the covers beside him. Not touching, just near enough to share body, heat. Eric couldn't sleep. A million thoughts raced through his mind. What had he just gotten himself into? A glowing alien girl had fallen into his life. And now she was in his bed, trusting him with a secret that could get them both killed. Outside, the snow kept falling. But inside, something strange had begun, something that would change his life forever. The next morning, Eric woke up slowly. The cabin was still warm, the fire burning low. For a moment, he forgot what happened. But then he turned his head and saw her. Nira was sitting by the window, wrapped in a blanket. The soft glow of her skin lit the room in a gentle blue light. Snowflakes danced outside. She was watching them silently. She turned when she heard him stir. "You awake?" she said in her slow, careful English. "Yeah." Eric sat up. "I didn't dream it, huh?" "No dream," she replied. "I still hear." He rubbed his face and walked to the kitchen. He made coffee, poured 2 cups. "Do you drink this?" he asked. Nira took the cup, sniffed it, and took a tiny sip. Her face twitched. "Too bitter," she said, shaking her head. Eric laughed. "Yeah, most people think that." They sat in silence for a few minutes. But Eric couldn't stop staring at something on her arm. Her blanket had slipped a little, revealing a glowing symbol on her skin. It pulsed softly. Red, then blue, then green. "What's that?" he asked, pointing. Nira looked down at her arm quickly and pulled the blanket tighter. "Nothing," she said too fast. "It's not nothing," Eric replied. "It's glowing." She looked away. "Is it a tattoo?" "No, not tattoo." She looked at him, serious now. "It is marker. Inside my blood. My people use it to track bloodline, to know who is who." "Bloodline?" Eric asked. "You mean like royalty?" Nira didn't answer. She stood up and walked to the fire. Eric followed her. "Why are you hiding?" he asked again. "You said someone is hunting you." She sat on the floor, arms around her knees. "My people fall. Bad ones take power. I escape. Come here." Eric sat beside her. "Why Earth?" She shrugged. "Old maps say, Earth is lost world, hidden, not many know, safe." Eric leaned back. "Not that safe, you nearly froze to death." Nira gave a small smile. Later that day, Eric stepped out to chop some firewood. As he swung the axe, he noticed something strange. A black drone hovered silently above the trees. It was small, with blinking red lights. Eric dropped the axe and ran inside. "Nira!" he shouted. She was already at the window, eyes wide. "They found me," she whispered. "Wait. How do you know it's them?" She pointed to the sky. "Hunter drone. Silent wings. They search for me." Eric closed all the windows and pulled down the blinds. His heart raced. Nira walked to the fireplace and took a metal shard from under her sleeve. It was shaped like a triangle. She pressed it, and a hologram blinked to life, showing the drone flying in real time. Eric stared. "You're tracking them?" "No. They tracking me. I just listen back." The screen showed the drone moving away. Nira let out a breath. "They go. For now," she said. Eric sat down, trying to understand everything. "How long can we hide like this?" Nira looked at him with serious eyes. "Not long. If they see me again, they send soldiers. They want my blood." "Why?" She paused, then finally said it. "My blood opens ancient tech, hidden weapons, sleep weapons. Only I can wake them. I last." Eric's mouth went dry. "You're not just any alien. You're special." Nira nodded slowly. "Too special. That's why I must hide. Or die." That night, Eric couldn't sleep. He sat on the couch while Nira lay under the blankets. Her breathing was soft, steady. He stared at the fire, thinking about her words. Bloodline. Weapons. Hunted. Suddenly, Nira spoke. "You scared of me?" she asked softly. Eric looked at her. "No, I'm scared for you." She pulled the blanket down slightly and stared at him with glowing eyes. "You still want help me?" "Yes," he said without pause. Nira sat up slowly and moved closer. Then, we must make trust. What do you mean? She took his hand gently. I need warmth. You give it. I stay near. My heat stay low. Code inside me sleeps. She touched her chest. If I get too cold or too afraid, Code wakes up. Then they feel me. Across stars. Eric swallowed. So, what do? We stay close. Warm. Secret. Her eyes softened. We sleep together. For real this time. Not just near. Eric hesitated. But something inside him understood. This wasn't romance. It was survival. Okay, he whispered. That night, as they lay under the same blanket, closer than before, Eric realized the truth. He wasn't just hiding an alien girl, he was protecting something the galaxy feared. The next few days passed like a strange dream. Eric and Nira stayed hidden inside the cabin. The snow outside was thick now, burying the road, cutting them off from the rest of the town. To Eric, it almost felt peaceful, until the nights came. Because every night, Nira whispered. She thought he was asleep, but Eric always heard her. She spoke in her alien language, soft, fast, and emotional. The words flowed like a quiet song. Sometimes they sounded sad, sometimes scared, sometimes angry. He didn't understand a word, but he recorded everything. One evening, while Nira was outside gathering snow for water, Eric uploaded the recordings to an old translation forum. He didn't expect anything, but one reply came within minutes. This is ancient Zenthari dialect. She is sending a distress call, a royal-level distress call. Eric's eyes widened. He quickly checked the profile of the person who sent the message. It had no photo, no name, just one message. If she's still with you, hide her. She's not safe. And now, neither are you. Eric's hands trembled as he closed the laptop. Outside, the snow crunched under soft steps. Nira returned, carrying a small metal box. Her hair sparkled with snowflakes. What's wrong? She asked, noticing his face. He stood up slowly. You've been calling someone, every night. She froze. Who are you trying to reach, Nira? She looked down. I call home. You said your people fell, that they're gone. She held the box tighter. Not all. Maybe some live. I sent hope. If someone hears, they find me. Eric frowned. And if the wrong one's here? Nira looked at him, pain in her eyes. Then we run. Or die. That night, Eric couldn't sleep again. He kept thinking about the message. Royal-level distress call. That meant Nira was more than just a survivor. She was important. He turned his head and looked at her sleeping beside him. Her body glowed faintly like a light behind frosted glass. Her breathing was calm, but her hand clutched a small triangular crystal against her chest. Suddenly, a low buzz broke the silence. A light blinked under the window. Eric grabbed his flashlight and moved slowly toward it. Nira opened her eyes. Don't, she said softly. They're here. Eric peeked through the curtain. A black vehicle had stopped near the edge of the woods. 3 figures in dark suits stepped out. They carried strange scanners, glowing red. They're not police, Eric whispered. Nira nodded. Hunters, trackers, galactic agents. Eric's heart pounded. What do? We stay silent, she said. No sound, no light, no fear. The 3 figures moved slowly around the cabin, scanning the walls. One of them paused near the back window. Eric held his breath. Nira grabbed Eric's hand and closed her eyes. A soft warmth spread through his palm. Then, the figures turned away. One tapped a device. A blue hologram appeared, a map showing no signal inside the house. The men nodded and walked back to their vehicle. The sound of the engine faded into the snowy night. Inside, Eric exhaled. That was close. Nira let go of his hand. I blocked my heat, my signal. Only for 1 minute, now I'm tired. She looked pale. Her glow faded. Eric helped her back to bed, covering her with extra blankets. You didn't tell me they had tech like that, he said. They use old scans. Look for life signs. I stopped mine, but only for short time. Next time we not be so lucky. He sat beside her. What are you really, Nira? Don't lie. She opened her eyes slowly. You want truth? I need it, Eric said. She sat up and pulled back the sleeve on her arm. The glowing symbol was brighter now, shifting colors. This is royal mark, she said. Blood of the Star House. My family ruled 3 galaxies before war came. I'm the last? Eric stared. You're a princess? She nodded. More than that, I am a key. A key to what? She didn't answer, just whispered. If I fall into wrong hands, old weapons wake. Planet killers, sunburners. My body unlocks them. The fire crackled beside them. Outside, the snow kept falling, cold and quiet. Eric leaned back, staring at the wooden roof. He had taken in a lost girl. Now he was hiding a galactic key, and the hunters were closing in. The storm passed by morning. The snow was deep, up to Eric's knees. He shoveled a path from the cabin to the woodshed, but his eyes kept scanning the tree line. Something felt wrong. He wasn't imagining it. Fresh boot prints were in the snow, heavy, precise, and they didn't belong to him. He rushed back inside and locked the door. Nira, he said, breathless. Someone's been here. She looked up from the fire. Her skin, usually glowing soft blue, had dimmed again. She was weak, maybe from blocking her heat the night before. Nira stood slowly. They come again. I feel it. Eric nodded. We don't have time. We need a plan. But before they could speak more, someone knocked. Knock, knock. Not hard. Just polite. Normal. Too normal. Eric peeked through the peephole. 2 men stood outside. They wore thick black coats and had strange badges. On their collars, one smiled at the door. Hello? Sorry to bother. We're from the Environmental Protection Unit. Just checking in after the storm, the man said with a friendly voice. Eric froze. Nira whispered. Not real. Eyes wrong. Not blink. What do I say? Eric whispered back. She placed a hand on his shoulder. Lie. Or die. Eric opened the door just a little. Hey, yeah, I'm good. Didn't lose power. The taller agent leaned forward. Alone out here? Eric forced a laugh. Yeah, just me in the snow. Cabin life, you know? The man smiled wider, but his eyes didn't. No visitors, no trouble, nothing but squirrels. The agents chuckled, but then the shorter one sniffed the air, like a dog. His smile vanished. Mind if we step inside? He asked. Actually, Eric said, heart pounding. I'm just about to head into town, got a frozen pipe to fix. The taller agent nodded. Of course, just routine. Stay warm. As they turned to leave, one of them tapped something behind his ear. A faint blue light blinked. They walked away, but not far. They stayed in the woods, watching. That night, Eric and Nira spoke in hushed voices by the fireplace. They're not leaving, he said. They know something. Nira stared into the flames. I need to go. I make danger for you. I won't let them take you. If I stay, you die. Eric stood up. Then we run together. She looked at him, really looked. You would leave your home for me? I'd leave the planet for you if I had to. She blinked. You say that. Like a promise. Reached into the drawer and pulled out his grandfather's old hunting map. There's an old mine entrance 10 miles east. Hidden, not used in years. We can move at night. She nodded slowly. It's time. Before leaving, Nira opened her small silver box. Inside was a thin band. She clipped it to her wrist. A small light blinked. What's that? Eric asked. Signal blocker. One last time. But doesn't that take energy from you? Yes, it hurts, she said softly. But it buys us hours. She took a shaky breath. Then I rest. Then we run. But before they could move, The cabin lights blinked and died. The power was cut outside, engines rumbled. 4 black vehicles pulled up silently. Red lights swept across the snow. They had come. Eric grabbed Nira's hand. Basement. Now. They slipped into the trapdoor below the rug. The space was small, dark and cold. Eric covered them with an old blanket. Above them, boots stomped across the floor. Voices. We know she's here. She's radiating again. Weak but present. Eric held his breath. Nira trembled beside him. Then, the floor above creaked. The trapdoor opened. A flashlight beam hit Eric in the eyes. The agent stared down. There you are. Nira didn't scream. She stood up slowly and raised her hands. I surrender, she said softly. No, Eric shouted, grabbing her arm. She turned to him. If I go, you live. But the agent interrupted. Too late for that. You bonded with her. Eric froze. What? She shared energy. You're marked now, too. What does that mean? The agent smirked. It means we take both of you. Eric's heart pounded as the flashlight beam stayed on his face. The agent above didn't move. Nira stood frozen beside him, breathing hard, her glow flickering like a dying candle. I said, the agent repeated. You're both coming with us. No, Eric said, voice firm but shaky. She's done nothing wrong. The agent laughed coldly. You think this is about right or wrong? 2 more agents stepped into view behind him. All of them were armed, not with guns, but with strange metallic rods pulsing with blue light. Energy weapons. Nira whispered, they'll take me to a lab. Use my blood to wake the weapons. Kill planets. Kill species. Then we run. Eric A. whispered back. No, she said. They will never stop. Her hand moved slowly to the glowing band on her wrist. I can destroy the signal device. It will cause a small blast. Blind them. Maybe we escape. Eric stared. You'll get hurt, she smiled sadly. Already hurt? Before Eric could stop her, she pressed the side of the band. Boom! A blinding blue flash filled the basement. The agents above shouted. The trapdoor slammed shut. Dust and smoke filled the small space. Eric coughed and grabbed Nira, pulling her toward the hidden tunnel under the floor. It was narrow, filled with spiderwebs, but it led out to the woodshed. They crawled for what felt like forever. When they finally reached the end, Eric pushed open the old wooden door. Snow and fresh air hit his face. They were outside, but not safe. Drone hovered above the trees. It spotted them and it spoke. Fugitive Royal Code identified. Prepare for collection. Nira pulled Eric behind a tree. I have one more option, she said quietly. I never wanted to use it. What is it? She hesitated. I can bind with you. Full link. It changes your blood, makes me invisible to them. But it's forever. Eric blinked. What do you mean forever? I will always be part of you. In your mind. In your life. If I die, you die. He stared at her. That's the worst offer I've ever heard. I know, she said softly, and also the best. Her eyes widened. Let's do it, Eric said. But I trust you. That's enough. She stepped closer. Then give me your hand. Eric placed his hand in hers. Her other hand touched his chest. Her glow spread through him like fire and ice at the same time. He gasped. Suddenly, memories not his own rushed into his mind. Alien skies, crystal cities, a throne made of stars. Then silence. The drone above blinked, then paused. Target lost. Signal erased. It turned and flew away. Eric dropped to his knees. What just happened? He asked. Nira knelt beside him, her glow soft and calm. We are one now, she said. They can't find me anymore. I used you as a shield, and you are no longer just human. Eric looked at his hand. Faint, glowing mark had appeared, just like hers. They didn't speak much as they walked through the snowy forest. Their bond was new, strange, powerful. They reached the old mine Eric had talked about days before. It was cold and dark inside, but safe, at least for now. Eric built a small fire. Nira sat close beside him. "Will they still come?" he asked. "Maybe," she said. "But now we're harder to trace." He nodded slowly. "So, what now?" Nira looked up at the stars visible through a crack in the mine ceiling. "Now," she said, "we decide who we want to be." "You mean, we're not running anymore?" "Maybe," she said with a small smile. "Maybe we fight." Eric looked at her, alien girl, royal fugitive. Now, his partner in survival. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Inside the old mine, it was cold and dark. The fire Eric had built flickered low, casting shaky shadows on the stone walls. He sat beside Nira, staring at the glowing mark on his hand. It pulsed now, faint, like a heartbeat. He still didn't understand what had happened fully, but one thing was clear. He was no longer the same. Neither was Nira. Since the bonding, her body had become warmer, stronger. The tired look in her eyes was gone. Her skin glowed brighter, and her voice had grown steadier. It was like their link had given her back something she had lost. But with that strength came something else. Noise. Nira pressed her fingers to her head. "They feel me again," she said, eyes shut tight. Eric moved closer. "I thought the bond made you invisible." "It did, but something inside me is waking up, even with the bond." She looked at him, scared. "My body is changing. The code, they hid it in my blood. The more I survive, the more it unlocks." "What kind of code?" Eric asked. Nira opened her hand. A small thread of blue light formed in her palm, floating like smoke. It shaped into symbols Eric couldn't read. "This code can wake ancient weapons. I didn't know how much was inside me, but now that we're linked, it grows." Eric stared. "So I made you stronger?" She nodded. "Yes, and that scares me." A sudden sound echoed down the mine tunnel, like metal scraping on stone. Eric stood fast. "Stay here," he whispered. He grabbed a broken pipe from the ground and stepped quietly toward the sound. At the tunnel's edge, he saw something, a small device, round, floating just above the ground. It blinked red, then blue, then red again. A beacon. Nira rushed to his side. "No." "What is it?" "They didn't find us, we triggered them." She pointed at the beacon. "Our bond is too strong. The energy pulse from our link, it sent a signal." Eric's throat went dry. "So they're coming again?" Nira closed her eyes. "Not hunters this time. Something worse." "What's worse than the agents?" Her voice shook. "An Enforcer-class drone. A planet Enforcer. It's not here to arrest. It's here to end the threat. To kill you? To erase everything in the area." Eric stepped back. "But that would destroy the whole forest. The town." Nira nodded. They had one choice. Run again or stand and do something. But Nira was done running. "I can't hide forever," she said. "It's time to fight." Eric placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then teach me how." She looked at him, surprised. "You would fight with me?" "I'm already marked," he said. "We're in this together." Nira stared into his eyes. Then slowly she smiled. "A real one. Then I give you access." "To what?" "To me." Nira closed her eyes and pressed her hand against Eric's chest. A warmth spread through him, deeper than before. Memories filled his mind again. Starships. Glowing cities, languages he had never spoken but now somehow understood. The glow on his hand grew brighter. It climbed up his arm, across his chest. Symbols lit up on his skin like stars being born. Eric gasped. "I feel Everything. Yes, Nira said. You are now half of me. Outside, the sky above the mine cracked with thunder, not natural thunder. Energy thunder. A massive shadow passed over the mountain. The enforcer had arrived. It was shaped like a black stingray, as big as a stadium. It hovered in silence, scanning the forest below with red beams. Inside the mine, Eric and Nira held hands. What do we do? He asked. I step out, she said. Let it see me. Let it think. I'm ready. But won't it attack? She nodded. That's the plan. Nira stepped out of the mine and into the snowy clearing. The enforcer turned, its red eye focused on her. Code-bearer detected, initiating final strike. A giant cannon began to charge. Eric ran out beside her. You said I'm part of you, now use it. Nira looked at him and then raised her arms. The mark on her body exploded with light. Not a weapon, a signal, a higher frequency, unknown to the machine. The enforcer paused. Its red eye blinked, confused. Why isn't it firing? Eric asked. Nira smiled faintly. Because I told it. I am the queen. The enforcer hovered, then slowly backed away. It didn't flee. It bowed, and then it shut down. Fell silent, landed gently in the snow like a resting beast. Eric stared in shock. You controlled it. Nira's glow dimmed as she fell to one knee. I didn't control it, she said. I reminded it who I am. Snow fell softly around the massive black enforcer drone. It rested still like a sleeping beast, half buried in the white forest. The air was quiet. No more flashing lights, no more sirens. Only the cold wind moved now. Eric stood frozen beside Nira, his breath turning to mist. His heart still raced from what he'd just seen. You didn't just stop that thing, he said slowly. You commanded it. Nira knelt beside the machine, touching its smooth surface. Her hand glowed against it like royalty brushing a soldier's armor. I gave it a forgotten code, she whispered. One only a blood heir can speak. Eric shook his head. Why didn't it kill us? Because it remembered me. Even machines can still remember their queen. Inside the mine later that night, Eric bandaged her hand where the light had cut her skin. Nira looked weak again, but not because she was tired. It was the pressure, the memories, the truth now, too heavy to carry alone. You knew this day would come? He asked. Yes, she said softly. The moment I stepped on Earth, I hoped I could stay hidden, stay small. But the galaxy doesn't let queens stay small. She looked at him. And you chose to stand beside me, even when you didn't understand. Eric gave a quiet laugh. Still don't. She smiled. But you stayed. That's enough. The next morning, a new sound filled the forest. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't engines. It was footsteps. Dozens of them. Eric and Nira watched from behind the trees as a group of armored beings arrived. Humanoid, but not human. Their skin was gray and scaled. Their eyes glowed faint yellow. Each wore armor with the old star symbol that matched the mark on Nira's skin. One of them stepped forward, looked at the sleeping enforcer, and dropped to one knee. He called out in Nira's language. She stepped forward slowly. Eric followed. The warrior's voice shook. Your Majesty, we have come at last. Eric looked at her. They know you? Nira nodded. They were my father's honor guard, lost when our fleet scattered. They followed my signal. The warrior removed his helmet. His face was scarred, aged, but proud. We feared you were dead. But the bloodlight called to us. You still carry it. Nira spoke calmly. I carry more than that now. She looked at Eric. He is bonded to me. His blood carries the key too. The warriors looked at him in surprise, but not anger. He is yours? The leader asked. He is mine, she said. By choice. Later, by the fire, Eric sat with Nira while the warriors set up silent patrols around the old mine. They moved with respect and silence. No orders needed to be shouted. They felt her presence. They believed in her. I never asked for this, Eric said. I just wanted to help someone I found in the snow. And I never asked to be saved, Nira replied. But here we are. He looked at her seriously. So what now? She thought for a moment. Now we rebuild, quietly, not war, not yet. First, survival. We find others like me. We make a new home, a hidden one. And me? You stay, she said softly, if you still want to. Eric reached out and touched her glowing mark. I'm not going anywhere. As the sun began to rise, Nira stood tall at the mine's entrance. The warriors stood in a line behind her, silent and proud. The wind shifted. The snow stopped. The galaxy had tried to erase her, but she survived, and now she wasn't alone. The queen of a broken star empire had found her first soldier, not in a palace, not in space, but in a wooden cabin on a frozen world, a human, and now with his warmth beside her, she would rise again, not to conquer, but to protect. Because sometimes the strongest empires don't begin with war. They begin with kindness and a promise made in the snow.